G'day reefers. I wanted to share with you how I installed a bubble Magus filter roller into my Cade S2 N 500. Now I've done it a little bit differently because I've managed to fit this filter roller into the place where the filter sock would normally live. Required a little bit of modification, so let me show you how I did that. Now, just a bit of a disclaimer, I am a brand new reefer. This is my first reef tank, and initially I was looking at getting an all-in-one unit, but my local fish shop, which had some all-in-one units, also showed me this Cade one and talked to me about the advantages of having a sump. And I decided, you know what, I probably want a little bit of flexibility, so that was the unit that I ended up going for. It's a great tank and I'm really loving it. Of course, being a smaller tank, the sump is also quite small, as you can see here, and you can see in the top left-hand corner of the sump. Not a lot of space there where the filter sock is, but I've managed to put the filter roller in that space. So where did I begin? I took the measurements that were available on the Cade Australia website so that I knew exactly the amount of space that I was working with, and I had a look at the different filter roller options that were available. Now I know that I think it's Clear do a drop-in unit that goes straight into the filter sock holder, but I'd read some bad reviews on it and decided I didn't really want to go down that path. Really turned out that most of the filter rollers came close to fitting, but they were all just a little bit big. And that was also the case with the bubble Magus. In fact, you can see here that if you're looking at the chambers there for the filter chamber and that intake chamber, only had 126 millimeters to work with there. And on the bubble Magus, it was 130 millimeters wide, so 4 millimeters too big for that one. And also the depth of that one came, in my case, when I measured it, to 170 millimeters, so a little bit more than what was shown on the Cade website. And of course, the diagram there for the bubble Magus, you could see that it was about 20 millimeters too wide. But when I looked at the image of the bubble Magus, I realized, well, I could probably modify this and actually make it fit simply by trimming the feet here on the diagram, and also by modifying the side of the bubble Magus, and ultimately so that it would sit on the glass in the sump, which you'll see in a later diagram. And then where the intake was there, I realized that I had to be able to remove around about 20 millimeters to be able to make that fit. So here you can see an image that shows ultimately what this finished product ended up looking like. You can see it's cut down on the left-hand side there. You can see the modifications on the feet. I've got the other side of it for you there to have a look at. A little bit of a close-up of the feet. Now I did use a hacksaw for this and then just sanded it off and then cleaned it all thoroughly when I was done. You could probably use a router if you wanted to as well, but I don't have one. You can see here where it's been cut back to rest on the glass of the sump. And then this was an interesting task because I had to remove the support for that intake PVC that was available there first. Once I'd removed that support, again, I just cut that with a hacksaw. The PVC piping just sort of popped out. I was able to trim that down in size a little bit and then just re-glue it in with some reef-safe glue. So that was the modification to the filter roller. Next, I had to attack the sump. Pretty easy job. Used a very thin blade, razor blade, just to cut through the silicone to remove the filter sock holder, the glass supports on both sides, and also the glass baffle that separated that intake chamber from the filter sock chamber. That probably took me about maybe 30 minutes to get all of those out. And once that was removed, it was really easy to just place the filter roller into the chamber there and then just plumb it directly to the downpipe. I had to cut the downpipe off on the Cade and then use the flexible hose that came with the bubble Magus to attach it in that way. You can see here it sits nicely in the sump, the water level's at the right level so that it works properly. And here you can see how the acrylic of the bubble Magus just rests nicely on both sides of the glass in the sump. It just fits in beautifully. Probably had about 1 millimetre to spare all around, so it was a perfect fit really. And that's what it looks like just sitting a bit further back. And of course the beauty of doing this means that I've still got all of the space in the skimmer chamber on my sump on the Cade, so that I can run a refugium, which I've got on there, and if I want to add a protein skimmer at a later stage, I'll be able to do that as well. Well, I hope that's useful to some other reefers out there. It really was a great mod. I'm very happy with it. It's been running for a few days now, and it's doing a magnificent job. Really cleaned up the water, and yeah, just working a treat. Thanks for watching.